Hi, I'm Matt from the Trof team. Today I'm going to go through the sign up process for the vendor app and how to create your store, attach your Stripe account and add products and categories, and finally how to see orders that have been placed by customers and see your previous orders. So I'm using an Android tablet here just as a typical device that you would be using, and I'm going to start with opening the trof app, which is already installed here but is available through the Google Play Store to download. I'm currently logged in at the moment, and this is the home screen of the app. So once you log in and you already have an account, this is the landing page that you would get once you open the app as a logged in user. Within here you would see open orders that were not yet completed. They'll be listed top to bottom in here in the order they were received, and by tapping on any of the orders you'll be able to see the drinks or food and any additional items that were in that order. From within there you're also able to complete the order, which moves this order from the current order screen into the previous order screen. So the top left hand corner we click and we get the drawer opens, which has within it the controls for the vendor account. At the top you can see there is a completed orders option. This is where you would view orders which had been previously completed. If there was any issues, any dispute over the order, you would go in here to view the order and review it post completion. Within the My Details page, this refers to your personal account, which is your vendor account, so that's your name and telephone number associated to your business. The next item on this list is the store, and that's where we'll start today going through the app. So from within the store, you can see here there's an option to change the cover photo at the top. This is displayed in search results and at the top of your menu page within the app. The next thing is the active switch. This allows you to turn on and off your visibility inside the app so that the customer can see your premises within the search results. We recommend you leave this unticked until you've completed your menu, at which point you can visit here and check this box to enable your store and become visible to customers. We then have the next two options, which is table service and pickup. Here is where you check which of these services you want to offer, whether you want to have a pickup service, which would be where the customer orders the products and receives a notification when they're able to collect them from a pickup point. And the second option is table service. This is where the customer enters their table number and checks out, and the food or drink is taken directly to them. The field below are where you define your shop name and address. There are some optional fields for your VAT registration number, your company number, and also a minimum transaction value and a surcharge fee. The minimum transaction value will prevent customers from checking out through the app unless their basket total meets this value. I've set £5 here, but this can be whatever you choose. The surcharge amount is if you wish to add a surcharge to the customer's basket on checkout. The intention here is if you are a charity or you are working with very low margins or and high overheads, you may want to charge the 20p charged from Stripe to the customer. This is obviously discouraged, but we understand that some people may need to do this, and so we've included this as an option. One thing to note is that whenever you edit something inside this screen, you need to save the configuration by clicking Update Store at the bottom. If you haven't clicked here and go back, the changes will not be saved. And if you're at the top of the screen, it may not be immediately obvious that the save button is at the bottom. So just bear that in mind. At the top right here, we also have the Manage Opening Hours option, which allows you to set when your business is open and closed and set the times at which you open and close on the days that you are open. At the current time, we recommend you set this to your actual opening hours. However, there's another way that you can deal with servicing customers if, say, for example, you're open 24 hours, or if you are have variable opening times and they're not always set times, where you could set yourself to be open all the time here, and you could, through another method I'll show you in a moment, allow you yourselves to be visible only when you're able to take orders. So that's the manage store option. Then we have the ability to manage staff. So within here, you would want to, or if you want to be able to add staff, so their mobile phones, for example, could have the vendor app, and the staff member would have the order come directly to their personal device, rather than having a communal tablet in a public area, for example. You would have them sign up via the customer app, and once they've created an account in the customer app, you can enter their email address in here and then click add staff, and then they will then be able to log into the vendor app. If they try to log into the vendor app before you've added them as staff members, they won't see any functionality. If they sign up via the vendor app, then we would have them onboarded like they were their own venue. So don't have staff go to the vendor app until they've created an account first in the customer app. So, in the end customer app. The end customer app is where where the staff members sign up, and then they are added in the vendor app here. Once you add them and they sign into the vendor app, they will then be able to see the order screen. However, they will not see, as a staff member and not a venue owner, the details page and the store settings and the categories and products. This is so that you can be confident that the products you enter as a vendor, as a store, will not be changed by staff members to adjust prices or quantities or such things. The next item in the menu is manage categories. Manage categories is where you would add a category to your store. By using categories, we can group products together that are similar. The categories are used to populate some of the information in the customer facing app, such as the short summary of your premises underneath the name of your business. So the titles here do pull through, so it is important to think about what you put. And by creating categories here, you can also, once created, make them either visible or invisible. So if they're set to true, they are visible in the shop and to the customer. If they are set to false, they are not visible. So where this is useful is, say you have a food service which finishes at 5 p.m. or 8 p.m. and you want to remove the option to order food items at that time. You can come into the app and change the value here to be false, and while it is set to false, it will then no longer be available to the end user. The next option in the menu is the products page. So within here we can see the categories that we have created in the previous step. So every product needs to be associated to a category. So if you're a small store, you could just have a general category which contains everything. If you are a larger operation that does drinks and food and variations of food, different cuisines, you could have them descripted here. So once you've chosen which category you want to add a product within, you go inside the category and you then see the existing products if you have them, or you'll see a blank screen, and obviously up in the top right here we have the option to add a new product. If we go into the add a product page, we get prompted to add the name of the product. So here we can add the name of the product. The next is the price field. This is the price for the base product as described in the title. So in this case we're going to say that the tea costs £2, and we're going to put a short description of what we're trying to sell the customer. So let's just say fresh loose leaf tea. Next you're asked if you want to show it in the menu. This basically means if this should be shown to the customer, so in most situations you would, and also if it is in stock. So if it is in stock, that's basically a switch to allow you to remove something from the shop if it becomes unavailable due to demand. So if something like a special becomes sold out, or you run out of a draft beer, you could come in here and change this to say false. The difference between these two fields is that the true field on the left for whether it is shown in the shop removes it completely from view to the end customer. The true field on the right for the stock situation allows you to show the product but not receive orders for it. So it would simply be greyed out, but it would be clear that you do normally sell that product. So this is especially useful, for example, with draft beers, where a customer may expect you to sell the product, but it's out of stock. So marking it as out of stock here will show it in the menu to the customer, but not make it orderable. Now, you also have the option to add a variation. So with variations, we have a concept of an or choice. So tea, for example, with milk or with honey, for example, that would be two variations. So we would put in here, add a variation with milk, and we would say that that would be a total price with milk of £2.50. We then have the option to say with honey, and that might be a total price of £3. So now we have an option of tea on its own at £2, or with milk, or with honey, which is £2.50 or £3. So it's the total price and not the additional cost when you add a variation. Clicking the submit button adds it to the menu, and now you can see we have tea. So if I was to go through and add another product, so let's say add bottled water, which would cost £1.50. We don't have any variations perhaps of bottled water. Maybe it's just Peckham Springs tap water. We want to show this in the menu, and we want it to be in stock, but we might want to offer an optional add-on of a choc chip cookie, which is £2. So we add that and submit. So now we have tea with a choice of milk or honey, and we have a bottled water, and you can choose an add-on separately of a cookie for £2. So where this is useful, you can stack these together, is in the scenario where you have, for example, vodka, where it could come with Diet Coke or lemonade or soda water, and that would be dealt with via variations. Where you have vodka and you want to give someone the option to double up for an extra £1, for example, you could have them select vodka with Diet Coke and then have an option to double it up for £2, which is something that they could choose to take or not take. So the main thing to take away from this is that variations are compulsory options between different variations of the dish or the drink. Options are completely optional, as it would suggest, and they are add-ons or upsells. So you might say with a pint of beer, add crisps for 70p, for example, is a good one there. So once you have got the hang of adding the products and the categories, the main thing that needs to be in place before you can go live, if you want to take payments through the app and not just display the products, is the Stripe account. So the Stripe account is basically added to your vendor account, and it allows you to accept card payments directly from the end customer to your Stripe account. So your Stripe account that is created or that you may already have and attached to the app is accessible from the Stripe dashboard, and therefore it is totally under your control. From there, if you need to, you can see any disputes or any refunds that you may need to do. They can be done through the Stripe dashboard. There is going to be, in the next 2 weeks, an enhancement to the app to allow you to be able to refund from within the app. But as that is obviously quite risky if it's not well controlled, we have not provided that at launch. So if there is a need to refund the transaction at launch, you would need to go into the Stripe website, log into the Stripe portal with the account details you create when you add your Stripe account. And from there, you'll be able to see all of the transactions from the day or that week, and you can find the transaction in question and provide either a partial or a full refund. The next one is the support button. This is where you raise any support queries, and if you enter into here any feature requests, any problems, any bugs you find, anything at all you need to contact us for, it's a quick and easy way to get in touch. If you submit through here, we'll get back in touch with you via your email address that you signed up with. Finally, the logout button does what it says. If you log out, it basically takes you out of the app. The deactivate button deactivates your account and removes your store from the platform. So that's a brief overview of how the vendor app works. Some key takeaways just to run back over. The sign up and sign in process requires the vendor to sign up through the vendor app, but the staff members to sign up through the customer app. Once the staff members have signed up through the customer app, they can be added as staff members through the vendor app. When they are associated with your account in the vendor app, you then be able to log in with the customers, the staff member would log in with their customer username and password into the vendor app and have a limited view just to see the orders and previous orders screen. If a staff member leaves and you want to revoke that access, within here is the option to delete the user from your platform, and they will no longer have access to the vendor app and to see your orders. The next thing as a key takeaway is the variations are an or choice, and the price is the total price. This is important because we obviously wouldn't want you to add a product to the catalogue and find that you had considered it an additional cost. So if you was to, for example, set here coffee with milk with this as 50p, the total price would be 50p and the customer will be charged 50p and not £2.50. So please remember, the price in the variation is the total price for that product with the variation. Options is the next takeaway. Those are created and those are the total price for the option. That is in addition to the base price of the product and any variation that's been selected. I hope that's been informative. We are working on producing some more information and better documentation to go with the app. We're obviously working on this as hard as we can, and we'll hopefully be back in touch with you as soon as possible with some more detailed information for the customer app. Thank you.